I'm still in the arts and crafts closet. I found exactly what I'm looking for. This tiki torch is going to work great. So the last one I talked about a specific sermon and all the artistic components that I used for that. Beyond just the arts, sometimes I think you need to really have props and decoration. So there was a sermon series I did several years ago, and on our stage, and we have a pretty good sized stage, so we had the space. We basically mocked up a living room. And so there was a bookshelf, and there was a recliner, and it had the remote control, and it was leading up towards Father's Day. And so we really kind of wanted to do this living room scene, and things that just kind of stimulated you to think about dads and grandpas and uncles and the men in your life. And so we just mocked up a living room scene. Our stage, again, being a pretty big stage, it takes a lot to decorate that. And I don't decorate. In my house, Rhonda tells me how she wants things, and I build or paint, but she directs that. In our church, I have some women who are decorators. They have an eye for color and for textures. And so I've kind of given them free rein when it comes to the flowers on the stage, the plants on the stage, the layout of the stage. And sometimes they just kind of come in and they do it depending on the season. And sometimes we talk about, okay, this is what I'm going to work on, need to see on the stage for this sermon series. But we work really good together. And there's about 4 women that I rely on to make our stage beautiful. Again, because I don't know colors and textures. I don't know what looks good. And so they use their gifts and skills and abilities to do that. But it ties into the decor. It ties into the artistic and the props that are happening on the stage. When it comes to props, I think props are important. Not every Sunday. You don't need a prop every Sunday, but you need props. But they're ones that are relevant. So last video I talked about the alabaster flask and how I kind of mocked one up, and that was very relevant because that was an important part of the story. I did a sermon one time, and the sermon illustration was about the donut hole, the middle of the donut, and how the donut and the hole aren't the same. And so as a sermon illustration, I thought it'd be a great idea to eat a donut on stage. People remember that. They remember that I'm up there eating this glazed donut in the middle of my sermon. But it was way more difficult than I thought. I couldn't take big bites because then I couldn't continue to talk and preach. And as I took small bites so that I could continue to talk and preach, it just took forever. And the point was I was going to eat the whole donut. I got like the half of it, but I got to where the hole was opened up. It was no longer really a hole. And the sermon illustration, that point went over well. And people definitely remember that, their pastor ate a donut in the middle of a sermon. I was talking about Faith Promise one year, and as part of our Faith Promise, we support the team that I ride bikes for. And so for that particular Sunday, as I was talking about Faith Promise, I wore my riding jersey and I preached in it, and went over well. It was impactful. It made a point. When I was in youth ministry, we'd get ready to go to summer camp or convention or IYC or whatever. I would wear that t-shirt promoting that event on that Sunday, and it went over well because there was a reason and a purpose. The good thing about props, they're effective. They can be effective, but you don't want to become the prop guy. You don't want to become the guy that's always got something in his hand, always got something on stage, because that wears out fast. But when you think through the effectiveness, the usefulness, is it going to work? You can come up with some really good props, really good artistic ideas that do work and will be effective. So, hey, keep your eyes wide open, and who knows, you just may need a tiki torch one day. Hey, I love you. Talk to you later.